Welcome to the podcast where we discuss excellence, and I feel there's a strong gravitational pull to for people to be average. Society places an emphasis on people to be average, and this is where we discuss excellence and why be average when you can be excellent. Today's guest is Dr. Brett Kessler, all the way from Denver, Colorado. Brett currently serves as the president-elect for the ADA, American Dental Association. Brett has been practicing aesthetic, functional, and reconstructive dentistry since 1995. He's been published in multiple national periodicals and news outlets all across the country. He was featured in Denver Post as the only dentist in Colorado with its inaugural Strength and Health Award. He's been recognized by his peers as a top dentist in 5280 magazine since its inception in 2005. That's pretty consistent. Brett is past president of the Colorado Dental Association. He serves as chairman of Well-Being Committee for the state of Colorado, as a consultant as well for the American Dental Association. He's a trustee for the ADA's district and its representative of the ADA's Board of Trustees. He is a fellow American College dentist in International College and Dentist. He's received the Pierre Fauchard Award. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
You're doing good, Corey. You're doing good.
Great. In 2007, Dr. Kessler testified on behalf of the American Dental Association before U.S. Congress on the use of methamphetamines on oral health. He speaks internationally to various organizations and dental societies with focus on well-being and leadership concepts. While in private practice, he was the clinical associate professor of the University of Michigan until he moved to Colorado in 1991. Brett has taught occlusion and morphology in the University of Colorado School of Dental Medicine from 2003 to 2011. Brett keeps in shape by coaching and participating in various endurance races across the United States, including the Ironman World Championships in Kona, Hawaii. And he and his wife, Gina, have 4 beautiful children, Abby, Max, Sydney, and Riley. Welcome to the podcast, Brett. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Corey. I know you're setting a precedence here, flying people in from the States to talk with you. I'm sure there's plenty of resources here in the Great White North, but it's funny that that you get to have me as your inaugural guest, and I'm honored.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I so appreciate you doing this. I know how busy and what a demand on your schedule it is. You're traveling 22 out of 30 days a month.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of travel.
Yeah. My new role as president-elect of the American Dental Association takes me across the country and to Canada. This is my first time here in Toronto. Very excited to be here. But I'm kind of like in an ambassador's role right now, and just getting, putting a face to the organization across the country, and having a blast.
As you usually do. I'm so proud of you, buddy, because we're in a group together, a mastermind group. One of our mentors, Tim Grover, and this is a goal that you had for the last few years, and it's amazing. You drew a line in the sand. You said you were going to do it. You put so much time, effort, energy. I know how much you wanted this, and you made it happen. I'm really proud of you, buddy, that you were able to do that.
Thanks. So a little background, the president of the American Dental Association usually comes from the board of trustees or the board of directors of the organization. And I had to declare that I wanted to run for it. And, it's like running for a public office. I had to run a campaign. I had marketing and branding and campaign experts working on my behalf. I had a bunch of dentists working on my behalf, pods of dentists across the country, working on my behalf. And it was a year-long campaign, and that's how we met. Tim Grover, who's an absolute genius as far as getting in the championship mindset, and I wanted to find ways to surround myself with people of similar mindsets. And after reading Tim's book, Winning and then Relentless, he started this mastermind group to basically carved down a lot of the concepts that were in the book. And, everyone in this mastermind group were high achievers, big, hairy, audacious goals. And we met every Tuesday night for a while, and it really helped me with my mindset for the grueling trail on the campaign. So it was awesome. And, we've known each other now for several years, but never met in person till last night. And so just, you're everything you were online, in 3-dimensional. It's kind of cool.
I appreciate it, buddy. I can be a little relentless and in your face, but that's my style. And yeah, that group's been, I'm extremely grateful for Tim and his partner, Sherry Wink, as well.
Yeah.
Getting that group together. I was fortunate enough to work with Tim as my personal coach. Extremely lucky and fortunate to have had that experience. And it's, our mindsets are similar. We're always chasing what's next, trying to be the best versions of ourselves. Creating excellence as much as we can in our lives and in every aspect and area with our families, our well-being, our businesses. So it's an honor to have you here. Before we get into too much, I have a gift for you, buddy. I was in Las Vegas and I saw this and I had to get it for you.
Oh, Denver Nuggets. Yeah, look at that.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but, I was in this.
That's awesome.
It's a retro one. I know what a huge Nuggets fan you are, and
yes,
I'm sorry for the loss in the conference semifinals, but I'm sure they'll be back next year or sometime in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it's great. I've been a Denver Nuggets season ticket holder for many years, and basketball is my thing. I just love basketball. And, I grew up in Chicago during the rise of Michael Jordan, and I was a big fan of his when he was at North Carolina, and, following him as I grew up, and he grew into his role. And that's basically how we, led me to the Tim Grover, stuff and how we met. So basketball was a definite part of that.
Yeah, just so our viewers know. So Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's mental and physical, then mental coach. Kobe Bryant, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon. He's worked with
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, exactly. D Wade, Gilbert Arenas. I mean, the names go on and on. Probably hundreds of basketball stars. And he is the absolute GOAT in mental mindset training and excellence. I have the utmost respect for him. Yeah. So getting onto your journey and your path, you've overcome so much adversity. I have great respect for how you've been able to deal with setbacks, deal with adversity, straight on. And get yourself to reach incredible heights. Tell me a little bit about that and your foundation for success.
Sure.
And what's gotten you to where you are today.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Chicago, the Chicagoland area, and and I did very well throughout my childhood, and and I have an engineering degree from the University of Iowa, but I entered dental school in 1991 with a substance abuse problem, and I graduated dental school with a worse substance abuse problem. And I ended up hitting a bottom in 1998 where I got sober. And, addiction is kind of it's almost like a bondage in your brain. It locks you in. Your sole focus is to get high and get drunk. And when I got sober, consequences started to mount, and it's when I decided to make the change, and I sought help to make the change. I needed a lot of help, but when I got sober, that slavery to that addiction was no longer there, and I saw my brain opened up to all sorts of possibilities, and I got inspired to live my best life. And October 21st, 1998, that day. To today, every single day has been just an opportunity to contribute to the world maximally, I've done a ton of self-reflection and self-discovery and personal growth to be able to contribute to the world in maximal ways. I've learned, if you read Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, my why is that I'm a catalyst for positive change in the world. And everything I do, I've done it, I did it like with, subconsciously, but once I, developed or recognized it consciously, I was able to accelerate it. And so everything I do is, ways that I can be a catalyst for positive change. This is what I'm so attracted to you and your podcast. I know you're trying to make the world a little bit better place as well in your own unique way. And any way I can contribute to that, I'm all over it. So, anyway, I've, went through and, built a practice in Colorado, and I was, recognized by my peers as a, really, top dentist, I guess is the best way to say it. And I was asked to, step into leadership roles that I never, ever expected to be in. And, now I'm, going to be president of the American Dental Association this October. And I'm really excited to be able to contribute to my profession in the largest platform that we have in the United States. So I'm, very blessed with that. But it didn't come easy. It was a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about on this podcast, right? Is like we talk about the gravitational pull to be average and what it takes to be excellent. Because most people, they see the cars, the houses, the level of success, but there's not a lot of truth about what it takes to get there and how you have to operate on a day-to-day basis, the mental mindset, the practicing the fundamentals, how you operate on a day-to-day basis, because it's sort of like a sport. You and I both love sports. And it's like, well, let's look at the game of hockey. Well, how do you win the game? You win these small little battles. You win puck battles. You win face-offs. You obtain the puck. It's the little things that you do well on a day-to-day basis that add up to these big things. So tell me about your fundamentals. Like, what are the fundamentals for you? What have those fundamentals been able to help you with, and how have you utilized them to get to where you are?
Great. The addiction is a disease of the brain, and it's a treatable disease. Diabetes is a disease of the body, and it's a treatable disease. And so the treatment of my disease, it never goes away. It's a chronic management of the chronic disease is what it is. Okay. And so every day I need to do things to put my brain in a better place. My brain is not wired the way a normal person's brain is. And, left to my own devices, I will always lead back to, wanting to feel good with the least amount of effort. And so every day I do, certain mindfulness exercises, I'll do some, I'm not talking about religion, but spirituality, try and connect with the universe in the maximum way, try and get humbled and recognize what my role is in the world. I do some meditation on a regular basis. I do journaling on a regular basis. And I look at, some of the things, so some of these meditations that I do, they're guided, and there's a theme to it. And every day that theme seems to resonate with what I have planned for the day. That's how the universe works in my life. And I really feel that the universe is rigged in my favor. It wants to see me succeed. It wants to see you succeed. That's a mindset that I try and keep in, because there's times where I'm like, the world is crashing in on me. Why me? Why me? Why me? And, I have to flip that, and I see the opportunities in every single day. But it is a shift of mindset that has to be focused that way. And so, I look at my day on a regular basis and how can I show up as my best self? I know I'll have difficult conversations that I'll have to face, or difficult situations that I'll have to face. And I used to just scheme on how can I come out ahead on those. And, and it never, ever ended up the way that I thought it would. It usually ended up much better. And so I stopped scheming to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect at it, but I stopped scheming and instead shifted to how can I show up best for this difficult conversation so that all parties into it that are involved in it can win. Sometimes it's not possible, but that's okay. And I move forward from there. The theme for my year as president of the ADA is the power of now. And I've got huge goals. I've got huge goals that will hopefully improve the lives of millions of people and ensure success for the members of my organization. But how do I achieve those goals? Like you just said, one little step at a time. What can I do in the now that will bring me closer to that vision that I see? And every decision I make, am I going closer to that vision or am I moving farther away from that vision? But I keep that vision in front of me. I'm a very visual person, so I have like pictures and signs and sayings in front of me in my office back in Denver and also back in Chicago, just to keep me focused on the vision. And then every action I take, am I going closer to the vision or am I going away? And if I keep going away from that vision, I have to ask myself, is the vision that I put out there, is that the true vision that I want to be on? Sometimes it's not. And so I can change that vision based on, continuing to examine the outcomes that I'm going for. So it's try and be fluid, but I'm very directed and intentional at the same time.
Yeah, in speaking with you, you can see you're a student of the game of life.
Yeah.
You've set yourself up. The way you conduct yourself is like you're managing your existence in the form of what you want in this life. Like you're managing that day to day, and you're being responsible for it, and you put a lot of thought, effort, and focus and energy into where you want to go. I mean, these are really good attributes. You alluded to the fact that, with addiction, it's like you're wired to just feel good with the least amount of effort. Well, you've counteracted that by, putting in maximum effort to everything you do, right? You're showing up as your best self. You're bringing everything you have. Most people are unaware of the level of focus, energy, strengths that they have as individuals to really bring that, with everything you do, to bring that effort, that energy, that focus. You do this by, you're when you're not working, you're really focused on, you've done marathons, you've done Ironman contests,
Yeah.
you've ridden a bike to God knows where. Like you've done all these crazy things. Tell me a little bit about that. What got you doing that, and what that feels like? Because I've never tried to do an Ironman thing. I like sports and I do my things. I golf. I've maybe golfed 72 holes in a day, but tell me about that.
Yeah, I'm not all that right in the head. Let's put it like that.
Is anyone really? Is anyone really?
Yeah, I'm pretty extreme though.
The new right is to admit you're wrong. Yeah.
I started I played basketball in high school, and I never thought I would run for anything if I didn't have a ball to achieve some sort of goal with that ball, And in college, I bought a bike because I was sick of walking to class. And it was when mountain bikes first came out. My freshman year was 1986, and there was a mountain bike up on the wall of the bike shop. I'm like, what's that? That's a mountain bike. What do you do with it? You ride trails. Wow. And so I bought it immediately, and I started riding, and then that turned into road biking. And then it turned into doing triathlons, and I didn't really know how to swim. I found I was a really good runner back in my 20s. I was really fast, and I really enjoyed it. And triathlon was just the next, natural progression. But it was a big part of my addiction too. And it was, denial, where I can do these triathlon races. And I would say, as I crossed the finish line, like, drug addicts can't do triathlons, but yet I just did a triathlon. Therefore, I'm not a drug addict. And so it was part of my denial. And when I got sober, it took me a little while to get back into it, but I found that running and biking and swimming was really meditative for me. And then it became a metaphor for life. And I did my first Ironman when I was 50 years old, 2018. And, I was doing shorter races and stuff like that. My first Ironman was in 2018. And the training it took to get to that level of endurance and, physicality was intense. But what preceded the physical training was the mental training, because I was on the board of the, no, I don't think I was on the board of the ADA yet, but I had just sold my practice. I celebrated 20 years of sobriety, and I did the Ironman all in the same month. It was a really, really powerful time. But the training involved, getting up at 4 a.m, getting a workout in before I had to go do work as a dentist, before I had to go be dad to my kids, and then after work I had to do another workout. So I was working out, anywhere from 16 to the high of about 24 hours a week. It was like a second job. But that 4 a.m. rolls around, your alarm goes off, you have to run 6 miles, and it's dark, it's December, it's cold, and you're pretty comfy in your bed. But that goal of getting to the finish line is, kept looming large, and it got me out of bed every day, and, got me in my running clothes, got my shoes on, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And, my first mile, I was like, God, this sucks. God, I hate this. And then, then after that, before you know it, you're in the zone. And, and every day, repeat every single day. There was, about one rest day a week, but for the most part, it was, doing something every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And I learned a lot of things in the process that, first of all, I learned that, I'm going to have good days, I'm going to have bad days, and that's okay. When I had the bad days, what did I learn from it? What did I gain from it? Why did it happen? Was it because I didn't get enough sleep? Was it because I didn't eat well? Was it because I was just stressed? Or maybe I just needed a break. I learned how to ask for help. I hired a coach, and I've had coaches and mentors my entire career. But this one was specific. My coach put together my workout regimen, and he also is an accomplished Ironman triathlete and international champion, world champion. And I'm going to listen to this guy. Go after the best. You're going to listen to him. So I learned how to ask for help, and then not just ask for help, but then take his advice. So many people ask, but then they don't do it. Okay, I put my faith in the process that this person put in front of me, and I was very grateful for that. I learned through social media that I had people following me all over the world through my journey, and they told me I was an inspiration to them, unbeknownst to me, and that was kind of cool. And I learned, in the Ironman world, they have a saying, anything is possible. And I, someone like me who really was contemplating not living, let's put it like that, when, right before I got sober, to here I am participating, competing in the Ironman World Championships. Anything is possible. And I translate that to life, my professional life and my personal life, that I can do hard things. And I can't see how I can get from here to there in one big jump, but I can take these small steps, like we talked about already, to get me forward towards that goal. And as I visualize in my workouts, I would visualize that finish line. What, in my mind, I would be like, what's the music that's gonna be playing? What's the lights? And, because the Ironman for me, it was a 14-hour solo endeavor. You can't really talk to anybody. In the run you can, but I seemed to be surrounded by people. It was a world championship, so no one spoke English around me. So I was basically by myself, and for 14 hours. And it's a lot of time that you're in your head, and your head's playing games with you, telling you to stop on one end, and and the drive to move forward on the other end. It was quite a mental game, but that race was 140.6 miles of swimming, biking, and running. But it was only the last 140.6 miles. Okay. It didn't count for the thousands of hours and the thousands of miles that I had participated in mentally and physically to get to that. So the race was more of a celebration of that training. And I learned to really enjoy the process. And so it became a metaphor for my life. It helped me, with my campaign for election to the ADA president, because, emotionally and physically, it's demanding. And mindset is everything for that. And so I enjoy still, I don't have any big races ahead of me. My 2-year commitment in my role now is my race, and I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to maintain a level of fitness. But the endorphins that come from running, like I ran this morning, I can't get that anywhere else. I love to work hard for it, and it's different than in the addiction where it was an immediate hit, immediate blast of dopamine and this ecstasy feeling that was fleeting. Okay, 3 hours later after my run, I'm still feeling the high from that. And if you work hard, the benefits just keep lasting and keep growing. And I enjoy the process.
Yeah, I mean, it's so incredible what you've been able to accomplish, given, where you came from, what the challenges you faced, and, you dealt with one of the hardest things there is to deal with. But I can see how you've created your success and why you're successful and what makes you excellent in what you do. Because it is a mindset. And with you, it's you've done the things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis to get that result. It's interesting that you discuss, your level of focus and, your mindset. Today I was thinking about it, and I came to a revelation myself that it's like I used to focus so much on winning or losing. But what I've realized is over time is that I'm no longer impacted by winning or losing. There's like a job to do. I have to do the job to the best of my ability. And sometimes I'll win, sometimes I'll lose, but it's the process, like you said, the thousands of hours that took you up to that race that put you in a position to now, okay, I'm ready to just go run the race. I'm ready to just go, do what I need to do. I've put in all this time, all this effort. There's no shortcuts, right? There's no shortcuts in feeling good. There's no shortcuts in creating success. If there is a shortcut, it's just doing the work, doing the things that are necessary to get you to where you want to go, and doing that work and not resisting it, because the magic is in the work most people avoid doing.
Yeah.
We've heard that saying that the magic is in the work most people avoid doing. But if you do that work, you're going to get those results.
Yeah, and many people who didn't know me before, they see me now, and I'm an overnight success. 25 years sober of being an overnight success. It can be 25 years of intentional actions to become the person I'm becoming. And, I keep going back to the election. It's very, I never wanted to be president of the ADA. My goal was to maximally contribute to my profession. And that was my goal. And the next door just kept opening towards that path. But as I prepared for the campaign, I loved, let me back up. If you've got a big goal, you must change to be the person that can accomplish that goal. Otherwise, you'd have accomplished that goal already. And so I loved the process, the self-growth, and I loved what I had to become. I loved the person I became in pursuit of that goal.
So was the end result, you started with a result in mind, and, in order to have this result, here's what I need to become, here's what I need to do, to get there.
Right. And if I didn't win, I still felt I have faith in the universe. Like I said, that the universe is rigged in my favor, that it was preparing me for something.
What a great belief. Like, what a great belief. The universe is, because most people have the opposite belief. The universe is against me. like if we talk about the masses, right? But we're here to talk about excellence. And that's one of the, as I meet people all the time, in my profession, I'm constantly meeting high achievers. And there's always something unique about each individual. The common denominator is they have this higher belief that they were put on this earth to do something special. And this is the message that I want to send to all the viewers, everybody out there, is that everybody has a unique gift that God gave them, a unique gift that's inside of yourself. And if you look back from your past experiences, you go to like as early as you can. I have memories from 3 years old or even 2 years old. And I look back, and if you look back and you see all the things you've overcome, all the things you've dealt with, the adversity, the results you've gotten in your life, you're going to see some common traits. And those are your gifts in life. Those are the things that you can take with you. And when you're struggling, to get to another level or to reach that goal, you can use those gifts inside of yourself to create success. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. It's like the thing that's so great about Tim is we were like trying to figure out like what is so great about this guy. But the thing is that what's so great about him is he's not trying to change anyone. He helps you to see what's already there inside of you. So what already exists inside of you, and then he's great at helping you pull it out and find out what that is. What are these things that are great inside of you that used efficiently and effectively can help you get to another level or to help you get to where you want to get to?
Yeah, I think everybody has this purpose, like what you said, and we've got this fire deep within us that gets us out of bed every morning. It's some craving to change the world in some way, but many of us become blind to it. And it becomes, got to make the donut. It's time to make the donut. It's time, it's just everything becomes very rote and routine. And we get in, I call it, we're in a rut, and we love our rut so much that we decorate our rut, and every once in a while we look out and we see, what's going on out there, and it looks really cool, but many of us retreat back into that rut. Because it's easy, it's comfortable, and we know it. And the courage it takes for someone to find out what is stoking that fire and really exploring it, and then the courage to start taking actions along those routes is, I think, really what's missing in this world for the masses. I call it, there's like, I'd say about 3% of the people are seekers, and they're seeking that, what is the genesis of that fire within, and they're brave enough to take that step. Courage does not mean without fear. Courage is just the action of identifying that fear and still moving forward. Okay, we talk about soldiers, courageous. They did all these, great things to save. I guarantee you they were afraid. I promise you they were, but they were they had faith in their mission. They had faith in the outcome so much that they were willing to walk through that fear to meet their objectives. This is a courageous path that I'm on. It's a courageous path that you're on. And if anyone was listening, take a chance, take a look outside that rut, look around, and and see if there's something that you're missing in your life that's preventing you from having a total fulfillment experience in your life. And I've never regretted it. I can't say I've been successful in everything. I've failed 1,000 times. But the resiliency is you just get up and do it again. It's not an ending. It was just an ending of a chapter. Thomas Edison, on his 100th try, figured out the light bulb. He figured out 99 ways how not to make a light bulb. That was his mindset. And look at us now. We're in this room full of lights.
Yeah, last night we went to the ball game. It was great, and we were discussing, Jeff Bezos in 1998. With the letter to the shareholders of Amazon, and just his ability to have a vision and to execute on a day-to-day basis, no matter what's coming your way, because things are going to come your way. There's roadblocks and sidetracking in the way of external, like other people that come in your way, but there's also internal, yourself. Like Tim Grover, again, we keep going back to it, but it's, in his book Winning, he alludes to, and Sherry Wink, they allude to these self-imposed bombs, right? The best of the best know how to dispose of these self-imposed bombs. You've got a million thoughts running through your head. He often says, you don't see, winning doesn't, you don't see winning in your dreams. It comes to you in your nightmares.
Right.
Because as you get closer and closer to the finish line, there's going to be all of these, things external and internal that try to sidetrack you. And he says it the best: winning just fucks with your mind. It just fucks with your mind, like it just does. And, you have to be able to have the experience and intellect and control to be able to, get past these roadblocks and, where you're getting sidetracked and, to be able to get over the finish line and finish that race and create, that success for yourself. What are ways that you deal with to get you over the finish line, or what are some of the things that can potentially sidetrack you, and how do you deal with them and dismantle them, like much like a bomb expert?
Right. So I work a lot on maximizing the positive parts of my ego and minimizing the destructive part of my ego. My ego loves to live in scarcity. You don't got enough. You got to keep pushing. You need more. You need more. You need more. And then it also says, it loves to be in fear. You don't want to fail because then everybody's going to see you fail. So stay in your rut. On the other end, the positive side of the ego says, what if you do succeed instead of what if you fail? And so emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman coined this term in the 90s, and emotional intelligence is something that you can grow. And the better you are at, first of all, identifying self-awareness, what are you feeling in the moment? Is it real? Then you can take actions about it. Because the first part is identifying it. Then you can take action. Because a lot of times we're living in fear, and we're living in these pre-programmed mindsets that we don't even know we're in, that we built from when we were young to get us through whatever we were going through. But I found it didn't serve, many of them didn't serve me in my current life. And so, I have to live on that positive side of the ego, that what if you succeed? What if the world could change because, you push towards this? And so, so identifying that, and then, the emotional intelligence is self-awareness is the first part, but then, then social awareness. What is the sentiment of emotions in the people that are around you? Because not only is what I'm so attracted to our friendship, you are in the same mindset as me. And a lot of times I can't see my own blind spots, but you're not emotionally attached. So you say, no, Brett, get out of your head, keep pushing forward. And so I surround myself with people that are like that, as opposed to people that are like, yeah, life sucks. I don't really want to, And so, but we surround ourselves with those people too, because we've always had a history with them. But can you break apart from them to move towards your goal? And winning is a mindset, but it's a lonely path.
Sure
because
is.
only you know what that win looks like. Only you have that drive and that decision you have to make at 4 a.m. to get out of bed and go after it, whatever that goal is. So you have to kind of put yourself in a position to succeed, as opposed to a position of comfort and failure. Is ultimately, I think, not living to your full potential for me is a failure. I want to live to my full potential, whatever that looks like on a regular basis. So the mindset is everything. excellence is not a one-off. It's a whole host of habits and actions and that create this expectation. And it was, I'll go back to my election because it's such a good metaphor for this. When I did the Ironman races, I had no ideation that I was going to win the whole damn thing. It was me versus me. Okay, it was me versus the course. It was me versus the clock, and me versus my brain. At the election, it was you win or you lose. There's no, second place is the first loser. Okay, and that was the first time in my life where I had to go all in on something. And, but my ego was like, don't do it. You're good. What if you lose? How embarrassing would that be? But over the time and all this training that I've done in my life with the athletics and becoming the best dentist I could possibly be, I learned that that's just noise. And, so what if you lose? Like I said before, the process, in your case, the process, that I was becoming this person, if the universe wanted me to win, that's how it would be. If it didn't, it was preparing me for something different that I didn't see, that I wasn't aware of, to contribute in a maximal way.
Yeah, and it's really incredible because it's like you made a decision, you're moving forward with that decision. And if it's not a win this time, it's going to be a win in the future. It's going to lead to something greater that you want, and that belief, and then consistency and focus of doing the things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis, right? Like we've studied the greats, like through Tim and through ourselves. We're both ferocious readers, read, tons of books, and it's the same messaging often of these great individuals that have accomplished great heights and achievements. It's doing the things on a consistent basis, day to day, and bringing your best self, competing with your best self, which we learned from Michael Jordan, always competing with your best self every day in everything you do. And then that becomes a habit, right? It's not about the wins and losses because a win's around the corner. If you just conduct yourself in a way that's going to, help you get the things you want. You know how to handle yourself and do the things you need to do. They're going to help you to get the things you want. And, again, it goes back to that conversation of like, once you've made that decision, there's no negotiation. And that's what I love about the decision that you made, is that, there's going to be setbacks or things in your mind. And well, those are just voices. We all have voices. And, for those of you who say, what voices are you talking about? It's that voice.
Right.
Like it's always there. There's always, it's just the way your brain is constructed in your mind and your thoughts. You got a million different thoughts going at different times. And it's just organizing these thoughts. And we talked about it yesterday as well. We said, it's like sometimes you have to pay attention to those thoughts. And then sometimes you have to completely ignore them, because some of those thoughts will stop you from getting to where you want to get to. And you have to just be able to dismantle them and put them aside and keep going. Yeah. Keep running your race to get to where you want to get to.
Yeah. But Corey, since that date in 1998 when I, got inspired to live my best life, I always went after the smartest guy in the room, smartest person in the room. Whatever success I was looking for at the very beginning, I just wanted to, just be sober. So I went for the person who was, the most on fire about sobriety in the recovery rooms. Then I wanted to become the best dentist I can possibly be. So I went where the best dentists in the world, the history of the world of dentistry trained. I wanted to be with the giants. With athletics, like I said, I hired a world championship coach. So I wanted to know what they faced when they were the neophyte state where I am. And, what were their fears? What were their challenges? How did they overcome them? They put their pants on the same way I put my pants on. They tie their shoes the same way I tie my shoes. They are human like me. What did they do to become superhuman in this way? and then I just followed their lead, and like I said, for the campaign, I wanted to be around other high achievers who felt that there are no obstacles. This winning mindset is what I needed to be in. And so we don't have to do it alone. And that's the ego says, don't put yourself out there. You might fail, the negative side, but then the positive side, it says, go after that. Find that person who found success in the area you're looking to succeed, and then take it to another level. Crush it.
Yeah, we're so similar in that way. Like I've always had coaches like in golf and business. I'm a huge believer in therapy, to work out your thoughts and for relationships and things like this. I've always been into that. And I've always, I learned from Tony Robbins, right? Like you see other people who are successful, what they do, how they do it. And then, but you take your own way and you find your own way and you find your own ingredients to create, success, but you can learn so much, and it's all out there.
Yeah.
It's, people are, it's all out there in podcasts and in books and movies and like everywhere.
It's
YouTube
not
videos.
New. This is timeless wisdom.
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday is bringing back the Stoicism movement,
which is incredible. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, and it's not new. It's the same mindset they needed back then that we can utilize now to achieve the same greatness in our own unique way.
Yeah, not much has changed. Like, it's simple, but it's not easy. Right? The information is simple, but it's in the day-to-day operations of that information, of implementing that information on a day-to-day basis to, continue to move, to continue to do the things that you need to do to get the results that you want.
Yeah.
And it's out there, anybody that's listening, like, it's out there. Whatever you want is available to you. There's work that needs to be done. I have children, and we'll talk about yours as well. And my children, I tell them every day. Every day we have this conversation. You guys can achieve anything you want as long as you're willing to pay the price and do the work to get what you want. It's not going to come easy for you. Our wealth is my wealth right now. I've earned this wealth, and I'll do what I can to help you. But you've got to make your place in the world to earn your wealth and your success, and you have to do the things that are going to get you the results that you want. But you can do it.
Yeah.
And I plant this message in their mind every single day. Every day. Yeah. At first, my girls were like, "Oh, Dad." Now they're starting to like listen a bit. Like, yeah, my old man knows a couple things, about success and et cetera. Tell me about your kids. Tell me about, you have 4 beautiful children, 3 daughters and a son. Tell me about.
So I was just thinking about that. My oldest daughter just graduated with a master's degree from University of Colorado. Her degree is in Greek classic literature. And I know when she was little, she didn't aspire to become an expert in Greek classic literature. And she just kind of found her path through, different, curriculums that she participated in. But she doesn't have a job right now. She doesn't really know what she wants to do. She talks about, I encourage her to stay in school, do another, take it to a PhD level. And she's like, I just need a break. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do with this? And she doesn't know. And this is, I think, a problem that we all face. Like, we don't know what our passions are. I fell into dentistry through a back door. I wanted to go to medical school. And at the last minute, I decided I didn't want to do that. And I floundered around in school, and I was deep in my addiction. I had no plans to do anything, and a friend of mine suggested I try dental school, and I said, okay, it sounds like a good idea. And and the girls were cute, and and I did really well, and that's where I met my wife, and so it worked out. Obviously, I'm sitting here now, but I encouraged her to get into action. Because through action, even though you don't have a goal in mind of what you want to do with this degree and this knowledge and this experience that you've accumulated over the years, you'll learn through action what you like to do. Equally, you'll learn through action what you don't like to do. And so you'll start harboring that vision, that trajectory towards that vision of things that you like to do and you're good at, and you might be able to make a living at. And you weave your way through this path. You learn a lot about yourself through action. You learn nothing about yourself through contemplation. Okay, in this case. And so I just absolutely adore her. I'm so excited to see what she does. All my kids, I believe my kids are going to change the world. They, and things they're passionate about. My son, so she's 24. My son is 21. He's a total adventure kid. We moved to Colorado from the Midwest to maximize our exposure to the playground that we have in our own backyard. And he's a whitewater rafting guide this summer. He'll be starting his senior year at University of Colorado next fall. Just a good kid. My middle daughter just graduated high school, and she's going to be going to University of Oregon next year studying marine biology. And this summer she's going to Bali to work at a turtle sanctuary and help rescue turtles. I want to grow up or be reborn as my kids. They've got it pretty good. And then my youngest is finishing her freshman year in high school, and she's just 4 beautiful kids with amazing personalities, all very different, but all very special. And the way we parent, I call it free range parenting. Obviously, yeah, grades are important, but they're much harder on themselves with higher expectations of themselves than we are. So they don't get an A. Oh, well, you didn't get an A. But they do very well. But if there's things that they're passionate about, we will support that, and do everything we can to fire them up in that passion and keep supporting it so they can decide, if that's what they want to do, and they just kind of find their way, which I think is the best way to go. I was kind of stuck in a box where I was expected to do this, and this, and I talked to my parents about it, and they never put that expectation on me. It was all internal. And I'm trying I try to break them when I see that self-imposed expectations that are holding them back as well. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, they have their own challenges. Growing up today is much different than when we grew up.
Sure is.
But the human will has a way to find its way through to contribute, and we're wired to connect. Social media I call it the land of make believe. We find our niche, and but many of us just show the positives of life. We don't always show the negatives and the struggles. And there's this unrealistic expectation for many of the kids, based on the social media culture that they're part of, and that's kind of sad. If you follow me on social media, I try and be as authentic as possible. And but I used to, count the likes and see who's commenting and stuff like that, and but then it became a way for me to document my life and document my mindsets. A lot of times I get really contemplative on my workouts, and I'll be on top of a mountain. You'll see me, in a picture on top of a mountain somewhere. But it's more for me, because I remember exactly what I was thinking at that moment, and I want to keep that documented. And that's what I do with my social media. And other people may get inspired by it. That's a bonus. But it's more of my own way to document my life.
Yeah, I much like myself. Tabitha, my wife Tabitha, and I we have an account for my young son and our own accounts, and it's the same thing. I'm on private on Instagram, and it's a great way to document your life, to look back on, that your kids can look at, or you can look at and see like what legacy, and speaking of which, as we start to wrap up, what legacy do you want to leave? What do you want people to say about you? What do you want your kids to say about you in terms of, what you accomplished in this world, what you gave back? What do you want your legacy to be?
Well, first off, I want it to be stressed and recognized that I'm human, that I was, perfectly imperfect, and but I had a high, I guess, expectation to achieve and make the world a better place. I am living on bonus time right now. These past 25 years of sobriety, or it's like an extended play in a game, and it should be dead. And so I've been maximizing these 25 years, day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment, and and I want my kids to remember that. I did an exercise about a year ago where I wrote my eulogy. What would people say about me at my funeral? And it was very, very emotional. But I recognized I'm living the life I wanted to live. And I think that the people around me see that and they appreciate it and they become inspired to live their best life too. And so that's the legacy I hope to contribute, that, tomorrow is definitely, it's probable, but it's not guaranteed. And so therefore I want to live my best life today, every single day. And I hope that I exemplified that through the biography of my actions.
Yeah, and it's, just to give you feedback as one of your good buddies, you really have. You're this incredibly inspirational human being.
Thank you.
You're strong. You've been there for me in some of my low times, and we all have a mentor or someone that's has been someone that helps you when you're struggling in life, and you've been that for me a few times in my life, in terms of, if I get down on myself in business or family or whatever it is. There's, I can be really hard on myself, and you've been a great friend and an ally and a great mentor for me, and I can't say enough positive things about you, buddy.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration and an exceptional human being.
And you've been for me as well. It goes right back to that. That's what I talk about, surrounding ourselves with people that will support us, support each other unconditionally.
Yeah.
And see things that we may not see in ourselves and encourage us along those paths. And that's why I was so excited when you told me about this. I didn't know how I was going to make it work, but let's do it. Let's make this happen. And you're gonna, you're changing. I'm not gonna say you're gonna change the world. You're changing the world in everything you do. I've watched you in action, and I know it. I see it.
Thank you, Brett, for coming. That was such an inspiring conversation. Anybody else who also was inspired by these ideas and conversation, please comment below, like and share. And if you have any questions, they can be directed to me. But that was incredibly inspirational, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Please share with anybody else who you think would enjoy these ideas and conversations. Thanks so much, and until next time, keep it excellent.